Average mainstream men and women usually follow a fairly old-fashioned marital relationship, which is based on an ancient idea that still continues to exist, the society. The idea is man and woman are complementary to each other. What women have, men do not, and what men have, women do not. Therefore, both men and women have something to gain from each other. The life of an individual, man or woman, is incomplete without the other. Hence, they are indispensable to each other to achieve life's fulfillment. Based on this idea, traditional marital and family relationship between man and woman was developed, and the same continues to exist as the mainstream family structure of the contemporary society. Complementary roles of men and women, their mutual dependence, and strong emotional bond constitute the essence of this relationship. However, over the past few decades, this time-tested mode of conjugal relationship has begun to falter across the globe. In what direction is this change headed? Hello, friend. Welcome to the series Men's World, Men's Queries. Here I am, Dr. Samir Roy, Professor of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we pose the question, what is the changing dynamics of marital relationship between men and women? If you like to watch more videos on gender or sexuality, please subscribe to this channel. Now, let's try to figure out the changing dynamics of marital relationship between men and women. Let's start our investigation with biology, which is at the root of human life. From the biological point of view, men and women are certainly complementary to each other. This is because reproduction is not possible without the union of man and woman. Structurally, the penis and the vagina are complementary to each other. The fact that people have been aware of these complementary shapes of the penis and the vagina for a long time is indicated by the structure of the Hindu Shiva Lingam. The social roles of men and women are also shaped by extending this ideal of complementarity. Take, for example, the gendered division of labor. Women choose their roles in the relatively safe environment of the home. They were given the responsibility of all those jobs that require soft skills, such as affection, compassion, love, tolerance, patience, etc. Over the centuries, women have accepted these qualities as their natural attributes in the capacity of lovers, wives, mothers, and homemakers. Moreover, out of necessity, women were more focused on cultivating physical beauty rather than developing muscle power. In this way, a harmonious ideal of femininity, nowadays called a stereotype, emerged as a combination of beauty, opulence, tenderness, humility, kindness, compassion, love, patience, tolerance, and so on. Meanwhile, the duty to manage the outside world was assigned to men, but the outside world, even just a few hundred years ago, was extremely hostile, ruthless, and dangerous. In fact, the outside world was a place full of fierce struggle. Let's take an example. Cooking the meat of a deer and then feeding the family members and friends with this cooked meat is a caregiving job which requires a housewife's or mother's care and affection. But such qualities are not required for hunting the deer. Hunting a deer is the act of killing a live animal. To kill a living creature, one has to have muscle power, agility, skill with weapons, teamwork, leadership skills, and above all, ruthlessness. Even in agriculture, a relatively peaceful job compared to hunting, there is a kind of forceful intervention involved in tilling the land with a plow, which is absent in cooking the rice. Coming to human sexuality, it's the penis which must get erect and hard during sexual intercourse, and then, with the consent of woman, has to apply appropriate force to penetrate into the vagina. Of course, there are many sexual positions where the woman takes the active role and the man is passive. But such patterns of intercourse are unusual. Sexual intercourse in these difficult positions may be seen in tantric practices or in porn films, but ordinary people in domestic environment are more comfortable to making love in simple sexual positions such as missionary position or in doggy style. What is the science underlying sex as a reproductive activity? It may be noted that normal sexual intercourse in domestic environments occurs in a position that facilitates the union of the sperm and the egg. This is why the average woman usually likes to have sex lying her body in horizontal position. Similarly, in the vertebrate animal kingdom, we see that during mating, the female body remains still while standing or sitting in a position that is convenient for sperm collection, and the male body is engaged in an active role and does exactly that which helps the sperm get ejected from the male body and easily enter the organ of the female partner. Anyway, the point is, over time, these observations have probably led to the formation of the traditional ideals of femininity and masculinity as opposite but non-contradictory, hence complementary entities. Such ideals are nowadays termed by the gender theorists as the gender stereotypes. Broadly speaking, the idea of masculinity is associated with strength, heroism, determination, logic, rationality, intelligence, creation, destruction, rule, power, ruthlessness, etc. In contrast, by femininity, people understood elegance, grace, beauty, softness, emotion, patience, tolerance, care, love, affection, compassion, and so on. It should be kept in mind that such stereotypes were never very rigid. There are countless exceptions to these ideals, but the majority of people have accepted these ideals for ages and have raised their children and grandchildren based on these ideals. However, in recent past, feminism has asserted that this gender polarization is not natural. Rather, it is merely a social construct. This thesis of womanhood as social construct has been expressed blatantly by the famous feminist intellectual Simone de Beauvoir in her famous quote, "One is not born, but rather becomes a woman." Feminism believes that male-dominated societies have created this idea of femininity for the benefit and convenience of men. We will discuss the validity of this statement in details elsewhere. For now, all that can be said is, just as in the material world, the opposite poles attract each other among humans too. These opposite and complementary attributes of men and women have acted as an attractive force between them and have given strength and stability to marital relationships throughout history. But such polarization has a side effect, emergence of a hierarchical power structure in domestic spheres. It seems that in this hierarchical system, authority or power is accumulated apparently in the hands of men, so that women are forced to be submissive and depend on men for their livelihood. We say apparently because some experts say that although men are powerful on the surface, power actually lies with women. Men are merely slaves to women. Without going into such intricate details, it can be roughly said that this has created the so-called gender-based discrimination in society. Actually, any workplace is hierarchically structured into different levels and therefore is unequal. This structural inequality is based on the importance of the job, responsibility, skills, etc. This is why there are different levels of workers in all workplaces and their salaries vary according to the levels. Similarly, society, including women, adopted and accepted the gender-based hierarchical family structure called patriarchy for a long time. This is perhaps due to the fact that not long ago the world, especially the outside world, was harsh, dangerous, and uncertain. Due to society's dependence on women's reproductive capacity, society considered women's lives more precious than men's. Therefore, under adverse conditions, staying at home was safe and comfortable for women and beneficial for society as a survival strategy. Then, from the time of the European Enlightenment in the 17th and 18th centuries, and especially due to the Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries, the situation began to change rapidly. Applying scientific knowledge in technological innovations, humans gained unprecedented control over the material world as well as human life. Mortality rates came down. Life expectancies went up. Millions of machines and appliances were invented to make human life easier and comfortable. Later, scientific birth control methods, especially the birth control pill, provided women with total reproductive control over their bodies. In short, almost everywhere on the earth, quality of human life improved immensely in all strata of society. At the same time, powerful welfare states, functioning as liberal democracies, have emerged that are committed to provide freedom, protection, security, and prosperity to every citizen. Furthermore, thanks to the advent of machine-oriented civilization, myriads of new jobs have been created in society that require cognitive rather than physical skill. Hence, these jobs are essentially gender neutral. In other words, suitable jobs outside the domestic sphere were made available to women. Hence, with the combined effect of advanced technology, a developed economy, and a well-organized and strong state machinery, survival is no longer the main problem for human society. Rather, the question of social justice has become more and more important. And from the social justice perspective, the traditional conjugal relationship between men and women is, in today's terms, gender biased, although it should be gender neutral or gender unbiased. Therefore, it is the declared policy of today's state to end gender discrimination and establish gender equality in society. For this purpose, innumerable laws, regulations, projects, facilities, etc., everywhere across the globe have been implemented, are being implemented, and will be implemented in future. In this situation, what kind of changes are required in marital relationship to establish a new, better, gender unbiased institution of marriage in place of the old gender biased version of the same? The sociobiological purpose of marriage is to maintain the lineage of the human race through procreation and upbringing of children. Therefore, to bring about gender equality in marriage, several relevant issues related to reproduction and childcare need to be addressed. The major issues are women's unpaid domestic labor, women's unpaid reproductive labor, that is, 9 months of pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, care and nurturing of a newly born babies, etc. And finally, women's unpaid emotional labor, such as maternal and marital anxiety, fears, traumas, frustrations, and so on. It must be noted that society has been getting and continues getting all these services from women for free in the name of love. However, in marriages free of gender discrimination, this exploitation of women will cease to exist. Now the question is how to handle these 3 categories of marital issues in the new era of gender unbiased marriage. Let's try to draw an outline of the futuristic conjugal relationship. First of all, let us take care of women's unpaid domestic labor. Since both men and women will be engaged in earning money, the household chores should be done jointly by the husband and the wife. Otherwise, they should engage paid domestic help. If necessary, professional help, such as creches for babies or boarding school for children, should be availed. Such systems are already in place in wealthy and affluent families as well as in economically advanced countries. Let us hope that these systems will become more popular and reliable in future. Second issue is related to the reproductive labor of women. This problem is deeper. Biologically, this is exclusively the mother's labor. The father may help the mother in various ways to alleviate the mother's suffering as much as possible. He may provide support to the mother at all stages, from conceiving to raising the child, but eventually it is the mother's job assigned by Mother Nature. In the traditional view, the joy of motherhood is the reward for the labor of motherhood. People believed and still believes that motherhood is the essence of womanhood. In fact, it is the fulfillment of woman's life. But in the current scenario, motherhood is only one of the various possibilities in a woman's life. Since motherhood is not directly linked to career advancement of a woman, but rather a temporary interruption or distraction in her career path, it is often seen as an obstacle to achieve a woman's full potential in life. Therefore, maternity labor, like all other labor, deserves to be adequately remunerated. But it is not clear how the compensation for maternity will be calculated and who will pay them. However, if a woman wishes, she will be able to achieve motherhood by having a child through a surrogate mother instead of getting pregnant herself. Another possibility is, in the advanced society of future, babies will be developed within artificial womb under the controlled environment of a high-tech laboratory. Research is underway in this direction. In fact, advanced technology may even create opportunities where an adult individual may reproduce and raise a child single-handed. How? Suppose an unmarried woman or man wants to mother a child without the direct participation of the opposite sex. Then he will purchase the required sperm or eggs from a sperm or egg bank and create an embryo through IVF, in vitro fertilization. Subsequently, the embryo will be kept inside an artificial womb. It will be allowed to grow for 9 months in the controlled environment of a laboratory. After that, the matured baby will be taken out and will be handed over to the mother or the father. Such facilities, when available, will set women free of their unpaid reproductive labor. Until then, motherhood would unavoidably involve some sacrifices on the mother's side. Finally, let us come to women's emotional labor. While in principle it is possible to alleviate women's reproductive labor using technology, it is difficult, if not impossible, to completely free her from emotional labor. Taking care of the newborn baby, balancing the demands of work and motherhood, etc., are prone to result in certain level of agony, anxiety, fear, etc., which must be dealt with by the mother with appropriate emotional intelligence. Needless to say, these changes will not occur overnight. When, where, to what extent these changes will take place, or whether these will take place at all, depends on many factors, including society, technology, economy, the state, and above all, people's willingness. It may take a few more generations for this change to be complete. But one thing is clear: the change has been initiated. And the direction of the change is also clearly visible. Humanity is trying to move away from the complementary model of marital relationship between men and women. Personal freedom, independence and self-sufficiency of individuals, not the contrast or complementarity of the two genders, are the primary mantra of today's marriage. Moreover, individuals' self-reliance rather than mutual dependence and equality rather than subordination is our goal. Why? Because survival under adverse conditions is not the main concern of contemporary society. Establishment of social justice under favorable environment is the priority. So hierarchical power is being replaced by empathy. Gender-based division of labor is being replaced by gender-neutral division of labor. Therefore, today's ideal married couple is formed with two financially independent individuals of the opposite sex living together as friends and as sexual partners who have agreed to collaborate to bear and raise their children in a family atmosphere. Before we conclude, let's once again recall the outline of the changing dynamics of marital relationship between man and woman. There will be no hierarchical division of power between husband and wife. Equality-based collaboration will be the norm. Gender-neutral division of labor will replace gender-biased division of labor in the domestic arena. Complementarity is going to turn into autonomy and self-sufficiency, mutual dependence to be replaced by independence, and freedom will replace subordination. What about rights and responsibilities? Equal, meaning that both husband and wife have equal rights and equal responsibilities within the family. My friend, thank you very much for watching this video titled "What is the changing dynamics of marital relationship between men and women" in the series Men's World, Men's Queries. I would be grateful if you could share your thoughts or opinions on this topic in the comment section below. If you want to watch more videos like this on gender or sexuality, please subscribe to this channel. Let us stop here for today. Thanks a lot. See you again.